In this video, I'm going to show you how to change your front brake pads in about 40 minutes and save yourself a $300 in the process. By the end of this video, you'll not only save a ton of money, but feel like a car repair pro. First, let's talk tools. No fancy equipment required here. Just basic stuff you can grab from your garage. You'll need a jack stands, a 14mm socket, and a woodworking clamp for the caliper. Finding the right brake pads is easy. Just check your car's manual or use an online parts finder to make sure you're buying the right ones. Alright, let's get this car lifted. Start by loosening the lug nuts slightly while the car is still on the ground, just enough to break them free. Then lift the car with the jack and put your jack stands underneath for safety. Now that we've got the wheel off, we're looking at the brake caliper. This is where the magic happens. Use your 14mm socket to remove the caliper bolts. Be gentle, because we're not trying to break anything here. Once the bolts are off, carefully swing the caliper out of the way. Now, check out the old brake pads. These things are toast. You can tell when it's time for new ones, right? Look at that, we're talking metal on metal here, folks. If you hear that grinding sound, this is why. Don't wait until they're this bad. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the old and new brake pads. You can see how much thinner the old pads are. This is why you need to replace them once the pads wear down too much. You risk damaging the rotor. Before we install the new pads, let's add the clips that came with the new pads. These clips help secure the pads in place and prevent rattling or squeaking. Just slide them onto the new pads until they're securely attached. Grab your new brake pads and slide them right into place. You should feel a nice, firm fit. No force needed. Here's a step that some folks mess up: compressing the caliper pistons. Now, you don't need to get fancy with a special brake tool. I'm using a simple woodworking clamp. Just place it over the piston and slowly compress it back into the caliper. Take your time. Don't rush this step. If you press too quickly, you might cause some brake fluid to overflow. It's like a slow, gentle push, no rushing here. Now, brake grease. We're going to apply a light coating to the back of the brake pads where they meet the caliper. But don't put it on the braking surface, or you'll have major issues. Now, carefully swing the caliper back over the new brake pads and tighten up the caliper bolts. You want to make sure they're secure, but not over-tightened. With the caliper secured, let's put the wheel back on. Hand tighten the lug nuts so you can get them started, but we'll tighten them properly once the car is back down. Before you take off, pump the brake pedal a few times to make sure everything is working properly. You don't want to head out without making sure your pads are fully in place. And we're done! New brake pads all set, and now you're ready to hit the road with no squeaks and smooth braking. And that's it. A job that would have cost you $300 done in under an hour. How awesome is that? If you save yourself some cash today, make sure to like. And if you want to learn more DIY tricks, hit subscribe. Drop a comment below telling me your biggest car repair win or what you'd like to learn next.